This is the IC Pixels podcast with David and Anthony Cavens. We're going to talk about design in everyday situations.
Welcome to another episode of the IC Pixels podcast. This is David. Before we get started this week, we definitely want to encourage everyone to go out and vote. If you don't vote,
or die.
Yeah, you might die. I think Diddy said you would die if you didn't vote, and other people have said the same thing. So
that was a campaign promise that he did not keep.
He did promise to tell you to take that. But remember to go out and vote. This is your opportunity to participate in what happens, and it's really not fair for you to complain if you're not, participating and trying to let your voice be heard. So, I guess we can actually talk about what we came to talk about. The topic for this week is elected by design. So, me and my brother, we were talking about the election, all the stuff that's going on there, and we were talking about the design, like different people's logos and how each campaign has their different logos and stuff like that. And we were talking about what would happen if we had to vote for our candidate strictly based on their logo and how good we think it looks versus anything regarding their political stance.
I would add, I don't know, maybe normal people don't think like that, but as designers, that's something that we think about all the time. Like, I can't go to a restaurant. If I go to a restaurant and I see that you use papyrus as your font for your
your
logo, I judge you in a way. I mean, we're designers, so we think like that. So, I have to take that into account. Like, when I'm looking at something, like, what does your logo look like? What made you choose that? What do you think? Why do you think that's good? And do you want me to make you a new one for more than $35?
Oh, that comes in the $35 canvas. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey,
I think I don't know how, again, we don't know. We're not part of any political campaigns or anything like that. But it does seem like the logos that you see, you can kind of see on some level who these candidates are trying to appeal to based on the design of their logo in terms of I'll say, like Bernie Sanders, for example, his logo, when I looked at it, it was definitely leaning towards a younger audience. And, it's kind of the same style that would probably appeal to a younger audience and look like something that, Generation Xers and people that have iPhones and know about the App Store and iTunes and all that stuff would know about, where some of the candidates' logos seem to be more leaning towards something an older, like my parents might look at, because they're like, oh, that looks like a logo I can trust. So,
yeah, his looks very inviting. So I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a couple. We're not going through all the candidates because that's ridiculous, but not just the main ones that are, running. I mean, all the ones from this, not all of them. Ugh. We're going to. We're going to compare a couple of candidates from each party and just pick the winners that we would vote for purely based on design out of those. So we'll go through a couple of different people's logos and we're going to pick out some of the best ones.
So what we're going to do, we'll do it by party. So we'll talk about third party logos, Democratic logos, Republican logos. And then if you want to follow along, there's a link in the description where we have all the logos that we're talking about, so you can just go in one place and see them all and kind of know what we're talking about. So it's not just commentary. You can actually see what's going on. So I guess what we're going to do this year, obviously, because there's been the past two presidents have been Democrats, or the past two terms of presidents have been Democrats. There's a whole lot more Republican candidates than there are any other kind of candidates. So
about 16,000.
It's not 16,000, but there was a lot. So we went through the candidates that did run. Some of them didn't make it very far out of it, but we pulled out some of the logos. So the ones we're going to talk about today are obviously Trump, who was, I guess, the main candidate.
unfortunately.
Hey, I'm offended that you don't want to make America great, and I think we may need to edit that part out because I'm hurt. I feel like you're a terrorist,
Okay.
and you probably believe in Muslims. So
Yeah, you're probably right.
So Trump, Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Kasich. I don't even know that person's first name. Carly Fiorina, Christie, Bobby Jindal. He didn't stay in it long, but I liked his logo, so he got in. And then Rand, I think it's Paul Rand is his first name. Those are Republican people we're going to talk about. For third-party candidates, there's a lot of them, but a lot of them didn't even have logos. So we're going to talk about Johnson, Jill Stein, and Rocky. I think his name is Rocky Fuentes or something like that.
Who is that?
Like, most of these I hadn't heard of. I heard of Jill Stein, but the rest of them hadn't heard of.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've heard the Gary Johnson guy, but yeah.
And then finally, obviously for Democrats, we're going to talk about Hillary's logo. That reminds me of FedEx. And we're going to talk about Bernie Sanders' logo. So let's start with the Republicans.
All right. First, looking at a couple of the ones that I would just immediately throw out.
Well, let me say,
Probably,
the one I would throw out immediately is Paul Rand, or Rand Paul,
that's
whatever
what
his
I
name
was
is.
gonna say.
His logo is just Rand, and it's got some fire over it, and it looks like it might be like an Olympic thing, or like it reminds me of a college logo, maybe, like because it's got that burning flame thing on the top.
It really doesn't tell me anything about him. It doesn't say anything to me. I just noticed something. It does have like a little like cool thing element to it. The torch.
Oh yeah, I like that.
The bottom of the torch between the eight. That's kind of cool right there. How he did that.
Yeah.
But
the rest of it.
so when he's in, so if he's in the Olympics at any point, that's cool. But yeah, it still doesn't tell me anything. So that's the first one I would throw out.
It reminds me of the UNCF logo, United Negro College Fund, because it's a torch type of situation too. And the thing about this is like he's running for president. Most of these people, one common theme you'll see is obviously the use of red, white, and blue, but then like flag themes, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and then just with the name Rand, I don't even know what. I mean that.
Yeah, it doesn't say Rand for president. It just says Rand 2016.
Yeah, like what are you? Are you a what? Yeah, it doesn't tell me anything. So
it does look like a company logo, like a company I would trust to maybe deliver some packages for me or something like that.
Tires or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it does look like a tire brand too, like Firestone or something like that.
Yeah,
but not a president.
No.
What I don't like about the logo, you can tell how they kind of modified the N to do the torch thing, and then the space between the N and the D is a little weird to me. But other than that, like, it's not a bad logo. It's just not a good presidential campaign logo, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a torch manufacturer or you are in the Olympics, then I think that would, you have a company. I mean, you have a country named Rand, and you're petitioning to have the Olympics in your country, then I think that would be good. So, or any country that has an A and an N next to each other, like Canada or something like that. Or
I honestly don't think it's a good Olympic logo either, because it's not interesting.
Well, just the A and the N action thing. That's
that was cool, but the rest of it, no.
No, yeah. But you need to, you need some ideas.
Yeah. If you're looking for ideas for your Olympic logo or for your package delivery service or tire company, look at Paul Rand's logo. The other logo I would have to kick out in round one. Oh, there's so many, but
Christie?
Well, let me see Christie's. So Christie, just for those listening, it just says Christie 2016. What I do like about it is the font is not like old man. It's not an old font. It looks like up to date at least.
But there's not much design to it at all. It doesn't. I mean, it's kind of clean, font. But it's just like we're going to use two fonts and two colors, and boom.
Yeah.
Then we can go to lunch. That wasn't a fat joke, but Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing to it. I mean, like some of the other ones, it's not telling me anything. It doesn't look like they spent much time thinking about it.
And
Um,
it doesn't communicate presidential to me.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, well, looking at the tagline, I
mhm.
guess you could make an argument for it because it's like the tagline is telling it like it is, and it's just like, oh, we're just going to keep it simple and plain, and just
Yeah,
this is
but
what
telling
it
it
is.
like it is, that could be a TV show, that could be like a comedian's tour, or like that could be a lot of stuff, and that
It
doesn't
could be a late
communicate.
night, yeah,
Yeah,
late night show, yeah. Christie telling you, yeah, because once again, it doesn't have like the any kind of flag or star. Not that you have to have that, but there's no like, there's no soul in it. I guess you could say.
well, it's just not interesting. It doesn't. It's not interesting. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, not at all.
So
No,
honestly,
it's
I don't like Rand's. Like Rand has other issues, but Rand does feel like it was more designed than Chris Christie's logo.
yeah,
So the other logo I was gonna say we need to get out now is Kasich. So his logo is just his name, and then above it he's got like a K with some stripes next to it. That's kind of reminiscent of a flag, but
yeah.
the American flag does not have red and blue stripes, and it doesn't have a K on it. Um, so that logo, it doesn't look
I like it
presidential.
better than the other two, but
I don't feel like it's presidential. I don't know. I just don't like that logo. It's very, very simple. And then his slogan is Kasich is for us with the us underlined. I don't know. I don't like it.
yeah, I don't like the underlined part at all.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like, did you get it? Did you get what I did there?
you,
You see what
you see that line I
it's
did?
for us. It's also a U.S. for United States.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I don't like that part.
that's like
I
when
mean, the cake.
rappers rap something and then they stop and say, "Did you get it?" and they have to say it again. It's like
Oh, yeah, I hate that.
it's like no, no. If you have to
Now I
stop
gotta,
and tell me, then it was probably whack.
I gotta re-record my mixtape now. I mean, I don't know. That flag doesn't bother me that much, honestly.
I think I would like it better if the K was white or something else was different.
White. Yeah, why I gotta be white though?
That's the only way you're gonna make America great again.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't hate that one, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be, it's better than Christie's and Rand's, but it's
Not
still
much.
not,
So
it's clean
yeah.
though. I'll give it that.
So the other logos I don't like. Well, let's talk about Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, what he did was he wrote his name. I like that it's lowercase because I guess that's kind of appealing to a younger crowd. Like it's not so formal that it's all lowercase.
Yeah.
Instead of putting a space between his name, he put the words together. Red on Marco, blue on Rubio. So I thought that was interesting. It's more hip, I guess, to do that. And then for the
Yeah.
I in Rubio, he put the shape of the United States. Yeah, I don't like
I
that
hate
part.
that part.
I don't know what he's trying to communicate there because to me, it's like Marco Rubio is bigger than the United States. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like really weird. It's like when it feels like they designed it and they were like,
Yeah.
oh, we need something. Make the I
Yeah.
America. Like I don't know. It's kind of like it just feels like what is it? It almost when you're looking at it from a distance, it looks like somebody like smudged something there.
Yeah,
It's
I feel
what
like
is
from a
that?
distance you wouldn't even notice.
wanna-
It's like I like logos like that, like the Rand logo, where you look closely and like, oh, I see this cool little element that you did. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
if that is the only cool element and I don't notice it, then it's not that great.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done other things. They could have done something with like a flag or something with the I or something or one of the letters or there's a lot of things they could have done. I mean, he got enough O's in his name. He could have bit right off of Obama and did something with the O, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a really weird, I don't know
So-
why they did that. It just
The
does not feel
weakness
right.
I see. Well, besides those issues, I see a major weakness in this logo that it doesn't work well in a square situation, and that's a twofold weakness
yeah.
because that I for you to see that the United States, the dot on the I is United States, it's got to be a decent size. But if you needed to put this like on a shirt, like on a lapel pin, or like on a shirt, like on your polo, you got the horse or whatever.
Yeah.
That's going to have to be shrunk down pretty small. And the United States doesn't look like the United States anymore. It looks like a red dot on the eye.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't, I mean, if that's the only option they have, it's hard to reduce that in size and to like, put it in a different format.
One particularly is it's got to be wide and it's got to be pretty big for it to work. Otherwise, it's just Marco Rubio, no tagline, nothing else with it.
With the smudge above the eye.
Yeah. So what did you think of Carly Fiorina's logo?
I like it.
How much do you like Macy's?
Yeah, I don't know if I like it because it looks like the Macy's logo or if it's just purely like on the strength of the design. I mean, like the whole star and the A kind of thing. So she's got her name spelled out and then there's an A and then there's like a star that's for the line in the A. It looks like a lot like Macy's. I don't hate it though. I mean, it's simple. I think it gets the point across and it actually says what she is trying to do under it. Says for president. So I think it's effective. I mean, she bit off of Macy's obviously, but that may be, a road in because you're like, oh, I like it. That looks familiar. And you're like, I don't know why. And it's like, oh, because that's on Macy's, but you know.
Yeah, it's like if she had gone full out and fully bit Macy's, it would have been a problem, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it from a design perspective. It's not my favorite. Like, if this was on a sheet of other logos for her, I probably wouldn't pick it. But compared to some of the other options for other candidates, I don't mind it.
Well, you don't know what else was on that sheet of her logo.
Yeah, they might have had some terrible ideas, but I don't know. I'm not going to say, like, as a female candidate, she should have done something different or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think it works. It would work well in the square. You can read it. It says what she's doing. I mean, it gets the point across with the star and everything. I think it's effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think it works. I mean, we haven't gone through all of them yet, but right now, out of what we've gone.
Yeah, it's probably the strongest one we've talked about so far.
Yeah, definitely. So who else should we throw out?
I was going to mention Ted Cruz.
Yeah, that one. My problem with it isn't. I mean, it's got like a lot of the design things we were saying that you need. It kind of gets across the point what he's trying to do. That he's running for some kind of office and everything. So we got the flag and the torch and every like fire and all that kind of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. But it just looks. It's not very unique. I think that's what bothers me about it.
So when I was looking up these presidential logos, when I searched Ted Cruz logos, there were several comparisons comparing like his logo to like energy companies and stuff like that. I forget what energy. I think I'm with BG&E or one of those companies. BG&E's logo doesn't look like that, but I know I've seen an energy company that has a blue flame type of thing that's very similar to Ted Cruz's logo. So that whole fire thing, that's a little weird, but honestly, I don't think it's a bad logo. I don't think it doesn't stand out. It's not going to stand out from a crowd or anything like that. It's not like great, but I don't think it's bad, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have a lot of personality to it, but neither does he. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not anything unique. It just kind of, it's like there.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, it's like classic, like political logo, I think. And in my mind, that's what it feels like.
I feel like you could switch out that name for anybody else and it would just work.
Yeah, it would have worked.
Yeah, it's one of those template logos. I feel like almost, because I could see this as energy company or some other type of company where fire is an appropriate metaphor, and they would use that. Because other than that, I mean, I will say that his logo is kind of up to date in some areas because like he's got the two names run together. He's got the 2016 tucked up on top of his last name. So those are like some little touches that kind of make it a little more modern. It doesn't look as dated as like a John McCain's logo from a few years back or any of those. Yeah. But Yeah,
I don't remember what his.
it was just like Times New Roman and capitals or something. It probably wasn't Times New Roman.
Okay.
It was like probably maybe been Felix Titling or something like that. But it was just a serif font in all caps, I think, or something like that. It was very, very basic. If I was going to compare it to something, I might compare it to Trump's logo. So I guess now we can talk about Trump's logo.
Well, we didn't talk about. Yeah, we can talk about that. Well, because you've got two on this list. You've got the one with him and his running mate, and then there's one with just him.
I don't think either of them are good.
No.
So in this election, he wouldn't win. He wouldn't be a nominee for the Republican Party. They're both very, very, very basic.
Yeah, I mean
there's very little design to them. Like so, the Trump Pence logo, where Trump is penetrating Pence, has a little more design to it.
Yeah, it's just I think it's giving off the. I'm not sure that's the impression they wanted to give off, but
with the penetration,
it's kind of aggressive.
Yeah.
And kind of it's I mean I've seen a lot of people talk about it. It's just like wow. That's
what you're going for.
Yeah, and then the other one where it's just him by himself. It's very like, just loud and like boom, here's my name, and that should be all that.
Yeah,
matters.
there's no design to it. It's like a box with some stars on it. It's very, very simple. The Trump Pence logo kind of reminds me of not the New York Yankees, but it's similar. Like New York Yankees, St. Louis Cardinals. Like a lot of them have those logos where there's letters overlapping and stuff like that.
Yeah, like colleges and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's what that reminds me of. I mean, it's interesting how they made that try to be a flag.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they like incorporate it into the flag thing, but yeah, then it gets like really aggressive when you look at it for a while and it gets really like it bothers you after a while. After you look at it for a while, it's just like
the thing that bothers me is on the flag, how on the American flag, the blue goes like it's in a square in the top left, but on here it's not like that. They would have had to make the T and the P smaller to do that, but that just is it's weird to me. I know like you can't choose your candidate's last name or whatever, but the P just kind of causes that problem.
Yeah.
So
that's why he penetrated it.
So I don't know. I don't care for that logo. Either one of them. Neither of them are like.
Yeah.
Like they're like some. Well, so I'll say the one where it's just Trump's name. I feel like it's something that I could create in Microsoft Word, like with some clip art or something like that. The other one is more designy, but I still don't think it's a good logo. I don't think it's something that's designed to be appealing to like someone in my age range or my generation or my social economic status or anything like that. It's just Trump.
Or education level.
Well, it's not my fault.
No, I mean, I think it's one of those things that you may have designed and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of get this and it goes through there and it's kind of cool and it made it fit. And then you're like, wait a minute, no, that looks crazy. You wouldn't actually put that out.
Yeah, and the font, the thing I feel like also is like, well, like we mentioned earlier, if I see something that was quote unquote designed, but I'm like, hold up, that's a font that I have on my computer and I use like in regular everyday life. Then I feel like, you didn't really try if you're using just a basic font. Like,
but you just made it bigger and louder and then
like some of these other ones, I feel like
I don't know.
They might have been using basic fonts, but they did something interesting with it. And there's nothing interesting.
Well, there. I mean, this one, I mean, I don't like from design standpoint, I don't think either one of them works that great or interesting, but I think they're very telling of, I mean, they get across the personality for sure. I mean, they're effective in that way, where you can look at it and you can tell what kind of person they are.
Well, I guess that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him telling somebody to design it that way. I'm sure he was standing over their
So
shoulder.
somebody probably designed something better and was like, "You're fired."
Yeah, I'm sure that was. It's like my name's not big enough or something like that. And then I want 4 stars and then just make it large, huge. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, those are out. Who's next? We got Ben Carson or Bobby Jindal. So both of their logos kind of, well, they have that little element with the flag on the letter action going on.
Yeah, I honestly, of the Republican candidates, I like Bobby Jindal, however you say his name. I like his logo probably the most.
Yeah.
I like what he did with the J with the flag elements on it. It's got the stars and stripes and everything. That would work on a white background as well as on dark blue, like he has it there. And I notice in all the Republican candidates, there's a lot of running names together. Like Bobby Jindal, Christie did it.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz did it. Marco Rubio, Ben Carson. Like a lot of them put their names together, and I think that is a kind of a conscious step on at least some of their behalves to kind of appeal to the younger audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you look at previous years, they haven't been doing that as much. I mean, I haven't done extensive research, so I'm probably wrong. If you know I'm wrong, leave a comment or something, or email me. But I like his logo.
Yeah.
Ben Carson's logo. So while Carson was still in the race, I never looked at his logo, never really cared about anything he was saying, except for that stuff about the pyramids and Stonehenge or something. But it was entertaining. But
that's how people with bumper stickers for that. I never saw that logo until we lit up.
Yeah. I saw them one. I saw some Carson for America stuff, and I was like, "What? Someone actually got a bumper sticker?" But it didn't have this logo on it. What I do like about it, I like the thing that he did with the A. Basically, there's an A in the word America, and he's got it. It kind of looks like a flag, and it's an eagle, and it's pretty cool actually what he did there, because it's the eagle with the wing up.
Yeah,
but
the thing is,
go ahead.
It bothers me though, because the stars, it suffers from that issue of if you reduce that, you can't tell what you're looking at. It's like too much going on in one place.
Yeah. So the weakness of that logo is that it's too wide. If he had stacked it,
and
put Carson on top, and America was sticking out because America's longer than Carson, then I probably think it would have been better. I mean, he's got a tagline: "Heal, Inspire, Revive." That's not terrible. The other thing that makes this logo stand out to me, not necessarily in a good way, is that it's like got a goldish color in it. It's not just the typical red, white, and blue. Which is, I don't know why that choice was made. It's not necessarily a bad, I won't say it's a positive or negative, but it definitely stands out to me because it's not the standard colors.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work on top of the Heal, Inspire, Revive in different colors, different hues of blue and red than what's in the other. That part.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
If you just take away that would be better.
Yeah, because the red in the Revive doesn't match the red in the flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So I will caveat that I don't know if these are this is the official logo that the designer did. This is just what I found when I Googled Ben Carson logo. So somebody might have, this might be a knockoff or something like that. But I still think I feel like this logo has potential. I like what they did with the A and the flag and the eagle. And I think that's kind of powerful. Like if you did something better with that, it would be cool. I don't know if the way it was implemented here works well, because it's like Marco Rubio's logo, where when you scale it down, it's weird.
Yeah, it's just like, what is that? Yeah.
And you can tell, sorry to cut you off, but you could tell when you look at it that actually that A in America is bigger than all the other A's. It's bigger than all the other letters. Yeah. It's like they had to make it bigger in order to fit all the stars and the eagle and the stripes on there.
And the guns and the troops. And I don't know. It's doing too much. It's too much for one letter to do. I would have, personally, if I was designing, I wanted to do that. I would have extended the stripes, like the wing of the eagle, out over some of the other letters, like out over the M or the E, like extend it out over that. Spread it out, and then sprinkle the stars somewhere else. Maybe in Carson.
Yeah.
Like sprinkle them around, like spread the wealth around because there's like too much going on in the A. Because it's like they saw the Jindal logo and they're like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, they did all the design in one place.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's see. I think that's all the Republicans we were going to talk about. I have to say, out of the Republicans, I'm going to. So my ticket is going to be Bobby Jindal and Ben Carson as vice president for the Republicans.
I would probably go with. I don't know. I don't know. I'd go with Carly, and then for vice president, I would go with Jindal. Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to judge you. Politics is a sensitive topic. So
you want to do third party or Democrats next?
Let's talk about third party.
Okay.
So we have Johnson. I don't even know these people's first name. Johnson Weld.
Gary Johnson.
Okay. Gary Johnson and whoever Weld is. Jill Stein and Roque Fuentes or something. I think his name is Roque de la Fuentes or something like that.
Okay.
I'd never seen that logo before. So I guess we'll talk about that logo first. What do you think of it?
I'm trying to figure out if they go together. Is it two or is it all? I wonder if that's all displayed together when you see it. But it's got like a F that's also an R that's like split.
Yeah, his last name is Fuentes or something like that. So those are kind of his initials. Okay. I'll say that.
Okay. No, I kind of like that because it's got that, and then it's got the 2016 on there, and then the star that doesn't feel like it's really needed, but I guess they needed to put something there. I kind of like that part of it, and then it's just Rocky, We the People. I think it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. I don't mind. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what he did there. Could have done more, but
what bothers me. So I just Googled him. His name is Roque de la Fuente.
Okay.
I might be pronouncing that wrong, but sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
So the part that bothers me, I feel like the 2016 and the star are almost like an afterthought.
Just like
it's like the star, the placement on the star. Yeah. So the star is just kind of randomly sitting there, and I'm not sure why. I almost wish the star was like in the downstroke of the F or somewhere else.
Yeah.
You could have put the stars by the We the People next to Rocky. Like, there's a lot of other places you could have put that. And in 2016, the same thing. I'm like, why is that just sitting there? Because it's interrupting the bottom of the R a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's weird. Now, the other part that bothers me is his name is Rocky, and his last name is De La Fuente. So he dropped the De La, like De La Soul or something, and just went with the Fuente, however you say it. But the part that bothers me about that is that it's backwards. Like, if my name is David Cavins, so if I had a logo, it should be DC. It shouldn't be CD. And in here, he's got FR instead of RF. Yeah. I understand why he did it. It makes perfect sense. But just that bothers me from that perspective. Other than that, I don't have any problems with the design. The design's
and then his
not
name
bad.
Isn't Fuentes, Rocky. I mean, well, his last name isn't Fuentes. It's De La Fuentes. So if you're...
I don't know how that works, like with the De La names or any of those names. Like, if your name was Anthony the Great, well, I mean, would you just write Anthony Great, or would you always write Anthony the? Or what would your logo be?
Please say the.
Please say the baby.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, I think that's nitpicky stuff. If I just look at the logo, if I don't know his name, if I just look at the logo, I'll say the logo's not bad. I am bothered by the 2016 and the star because they're not red and they're not blue, they're black. So they really seem like an afterthought. So my ideas for fixing this, I know this isn't our topic, but I'll mention it anyway. If he had stacked the 2016, so it was 20 and then 16 below it.
Yeah.
Then he could have used that to create the bar, the downstroke of the F. and that might have been strong. I don't know. I might have liked that better because then the R would be kind of uninterrupted. Because now visually, when you back up from it, it takes a second to say, "Oh, that's an R," because there is some stuff there that doesn't belong on an R.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's being really nitpicky with it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we only have 3 logos
that
for
is
the
true.
third
I guess
party
we gotta be
candidates.
nitpicky. Yeah. I mean, that was just
like I take this election seriously. I don't know about
you're
you.
right. I mean, this is a serious choice, and you can't take this lightly. So,
the next 4 years of our future is dependent on this choice.
Yeah. Oh,
but
I would have. I mean, the 2016. I would leave that there. Use a wider font, or I'd use a wider font. I'd take the star, put it in the downstroke of the F, and that make it black, and make the star white, and then change the color of the 2016 to the same blue, and then send an invoice.
$35 payable to Anthony
for 12 recurring payments of $35.
4 easy payments, $29.99 for a limited time. If you call within the next 35 minutes, we'll give you a Johnson Weld logo as well.
Yeah.
So is Johnson Weld, Gary Johnson.
That looks like what's his name's logo, McCain.
It reminds me, it's very reminiscent of John McCain's logo. John McCain had the 2 little, like those 2 little slashy things they have in there.
Mm-hmm.
You had that with a star in the middle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one sucks. It's very dated. It just feels like, I mean, it just doesn't, it's nothing about that is appealing. Boring.
That's another one of those, I could make that in Microsoft Word. It's literally like it doesn't indicate anything to me. I forget what party he was from. It wasn't the Green Party, obviously, but
I mean, not the Green Party. I mean, I don't know what party it's from. Yeah, I don't know. I just heard.
But I don't really have much to say about it because it's so basic. I don't. It wasn't really designed.
Like the PowerPoint template of logos.
Yeah, that does remind me of a PowerPoint. The little slashy things, because that seems like something you would see on a PowerPoint template.
It's just, it's. I mean, I don't know. McCain, I guess it worked for him because he was mad old, and they kind of, I don't know. Well, I guess it didn't work for him, but it's just really boring. I don't know why you would go for something like that. Nobody wants to put that on a shirt. You can't market that. It just,
I think this is definitely indicative of not this logo, but our discussion is definitely indicative of the change in how, I guess, marketing is becoming more important in everything. Because we're talking about presidential logos.
Thanks, Obama.
Looking back, it's his fault. But looking back, I look back a little bit at a few of the previous years, like presidential things and stuff like that, and a lot of them looked just like this Johnson Weld thing. Because back in the day, like it wasn't as much social media and all, whatever it is that's caused this. It wasn't as much. It didn't matter as much that your logo looked good. It just had to say your name and be big enough. No misspellings or whatever.
Because people care more about I guess what you were talking about than, but I don't know. I guess, it's easy to say that, but I don't know.
And I don't know if it was
design trends that were different back then, so.
Yeah. It might have been that, but I feel like now there's more. I guess it matters more what your brand looks like because we're around more good design. I guess
we see branding.
Like everybody's got an Apple iPhone or an Apple computer or whatever, and the design is strong there, and design is becoming more important because appearance is more important because you got to be on the gram, you got to be on Facebook, you got to be on Twitter or whatever, and you're going to see pictures of things and stuff like that. So design is becoming more important.
You have to have, a profile picture, and you got to, that's important. You don't want to put something up there that's boring and nobody wants to look at that. And I don't know if that's a critique of whether it's a good or a bad thing, but it's a thing. It's, I guess with the, the internet, with the increased amount of information, then you have to do more to stand out because you're in a you're
Everybody's being bombarded with stuff, so I'm probably gonna look more at the stuff that looks good to me than Johnson Weld. Sorry.
It's just boring. It's like we said, it's the PowerPoint template of logos. It's terrible. So, he would not be our. Let's talk
Johnson
about
Weld.
Jill Stein.
So I had heard people talk about her, but I hadn't bothered to look up her logo or anything like that because I heard people mention that they were supporting her after Bernie Sanders dropped out. But I only recently looked at her logo. First glance, I like her logo. She is for the Green Party, so the fact that this reminds me of like something I would see on a recycling bin or
like Dole.
something like that. I don't think it's
very
necessarily
much
bad.
like Dole.
Yeah, like it's something I would see like if I was at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or somewhere like that. I would see this logo on some kind of food or something.
Well, the fonts.
I feel like
it's kind of old style.
Yeah, that's an old school font because I've seen that font before. But I think the way it was implemented, it does look like Dole. Now I can't unsee the Dole.
Sun and the O.
So she has a Jill 2016, and then the O is a sun, like sunbeam shooting out. I like how they did the sunbeam shooting out, how they align with the angles on the 1 and the 2 in 2016. I like that. I like how they did the sunbeam that shoots across and cuts off the top of the eye. I think that's kind of hot. But yeah, now I see Dole no matter what I look at it.
I like it though. I mean, for me, the colors bother me, but I mean, she's a Green Party. I wouldn't have picked that green, but But I like it. I feel like the color may date it. I mean, the font style is kind of feels like it's a very dull font. But otherwise, though, I mean, the design concepts are solid. I mean, it would work. I mean, it's got the website built right into the logo. But it would work without that also.
Yeah.
But I think that.
Yeah, she has several variations of this. This is just the one I grabbed, but yeah, she's got several variations, and they all work pretty well. On this particular one, the .com part is a little weird to me. Like, I keep looking at that part. It looks almost like it was kind of tacked on the way the 6 overlaps the dot and the C and the O kind of intersect each other. That's a little weird. But if we just ignore that part and look at Jill 2016, I think it's not a bad logo. Again, I don't care for the colors, but that's probably defined by someone else. Someone at Dole.
Noticed. I just noticed that like the way the sun rays, they not only cut off the eye, but also the way it cuts off the bottom of the 2 and the 1. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you said that already, but yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's an original thought. So, the thing that bothers me a little bit now that I look at it some more is like the sun rays that go through the 6 and the one that goes into the J. I feel like they should probably go all the way through or not go through at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like a conundrum. One of my teachers in college, design teachers, used to say it creates a visual conundrum. Because it kind of, you're looking at it and you're like, why doesn't that go all the way through? Why did it stop right there? Because So, because all the other sun rays either stop in the middle, like on the O, they stop somewhere, or they go out, so you don't see where they stop. I think that would be my only gripe with it. Other than that, I think we found our presidential candidate for the third party.
Easily.
So our vice presidential candidate would be Roque de la Fuente.
And Johnson can be the
Roque
secretary.
Johnson, he can be Secretary of State.
Okay. So.
All right. So
we got 2 for the Democrats.
Yes. So, It's not gonna like. There's no runners up here because it's either gonna be Hillary or Bernie.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start. We mentioned some stuff about Bernie before, but let's talk about his logo a little bit more.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it personally. The only I don't want to nitpick, but the B is kind of just floating off in the middle
Let's
of nowhere.
Nitpick.
Yeah. I think I like. Okay, so let's talk about what we like first. I like the using the flag, the blue and the red, the stripe thing. That flag theme is there automatically. They threw the dot on the I as a star, so that automatically got your flag theme going without really having to do
without
much.
using the whole country of America, of the United States.
Yeah. yeah. It was more creative than what Marco Rubio did.
Yeah.
I like the font.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sans serif font, which a lot of people are using sans serif fonts to be kind of hip and new, but it's not a dated serif font either. It's not a Times New Roman, obviously. It's not like a Rockwell, or I don't think it's Rockwell. It might be, but I don't know. But I like that. I like how the R and the N connect to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
And then, yeah, other than that, and then the spacing is even, because I know we were looking at, let me scroll back down here. We were looking at one of the early logos we looked at. Oh, Rand's logo, where some of the letters were run together and then some weren't, which is inconsistent. On Bernie's logo, the spacing of the letters is consistent for the most part. I feel like the E at the end could be a little closer in, or what, there's minor nitpicky things, but it's pretty consistent. It's got 2016 at the bottom. Other than that, I like it. No problem.
And I like the flag. It like kind of swoops under it. It gives it like some motion, and it feels good looking at it. You feel, I don't know, you like it. You keep looking around at other elements in it. You don't get lost and bored with it very quickly, which I like about it. Part of me wants to move the little flag element up so it covers the bottom of the letters a little bit. I don't know why. It's probably something I would do in designing it, and then move it back down because that didn't work. But
you realize how bad.
Yeah, but part of me wants to do it just to see what it'll look like. But no, I like it. I would make the star a little bit bigger, probably just a tiny little bigger.
Just tiny, yeah.
But otherwise, no. I think it's a good logo. I mean, even the blue he used, it's not that aggressive.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I like the blue. It's like halfway between navy blue and North Carolina blue or something, but it's a nice different. It definitely sets it apart from all the other standard red and blue and kind of burgundies you'll see.
Yeah,
because his red is not fully saturated either. His red is a little faded.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think it works. As opposed to Hillary's logo, which I hate.
So Hillary's logo.
But it's all we're left with, so we have to talk about it.
I don't think it's terrible.
It's not the worst.
It's definitely better than some I have seen.
It's better than Gary Johnson's.
Yes. Yes, it's better than a couple of those Republican Rands. Yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Hillary might be losing to a Republican.
Yeah, yeah. Because I don't like the logo.
Yeah, it's not strong. I feel like. So my first feeling when I first saw it, because like I'm not heavy into politics. I definitely don't visit like these people's websites or anything. So I Googled her logo, and the first thought was this looks like a FedEx logo, because I know that in the FedEx logo, if you look at it closely, like if you never looked at the FedEx logo, take a look. There's an arrow in it, and it's very similar to this. Other than that, it's almost like too basic. Like you put an arrow on top of an H.
Yeah, it does. There's no movement in it. And for something with an arrow in it, because the FedEx logo, the arrow is implied. You don't actually
it's
see
not
it.
Like, look, we put an arrow on here.
Yeah, it's just slapped right on there. There's no like division between the colors or anything. It's just literally, like, it's so blocky. I don't know why it's so square and just. It's like it's trying to have movement, but it doesn't. I keep on realizing, like, as I talk about these logos, they really do fit people's, like, personality. Like, it's trying to do something, but but it's just not working very well. It's just kind of there. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen such a stagnant logo with an arrow in it. Like, why?
Well, like an H doesn't really lend itself well to movement, but the choice of font.
You don't have to use that font.
Yeah. I don't like that font particularly. Like where it says Hillary for America, that font doesn't look bad, but the font that was used for the H is not the same font. What bothers me, besides the basicness of it, because again, this is not like a clip art logo. It's designed, but this is very simple. But what bothers me about it is the spacing. So if you look at it, the width of the downstrokes, I'm sure there's a technical term for that and I should know it, but the downstrokes on the H are a certain width. The space between the downstrokes on the H is a certain width. All those are approximately equal. But then there's a space of the point, the length of the point of the arrow that sticks out of the H is a different size.
Yeah.
And that kind of throws it off for me a little bit. I'm not saying that it should have been longer because that might not have helped either. But
it may have helped. I don't like I just can't think of why would they do something so blocky? I don't know why they would do that. I mean, and then I don't like the way there's no like breakup of negative space between the arrow and the H. I mean, just something in there would have, just to break it apart.
That red right next to blue. Yeah, it's not always a good. Like you keep some white in there. It looks a little better to have red, white, blue than red right next to the blue. Because honestly, like if you think about it, like if they took on the side with the arrow, if they took the blue parts off, and it was just an implied H,
that would have been better.
That probably would have been better.
Yeah. I was wondering if, no, that would be impossible to explain, but I think the best thing that would help this logo is to just do a different one.
Yeah, I would try it like this. If this was on the option list, it could be considered, but I would definitely want to do something with a different font. Because I almost think, like right now what we're looking at, Bernie Sanders' logo is right below this. The font Bernie used would work for Hillary.
Yeah.
Because it's a serif font. Like a serif font is cool, especially when you have an H. Like you have a cool letter like an H to use, and you're going to use a sans serif font that's just a big block. And it's a big square. It's not that great.
She could have used like a cursive font or something with some kind of like personality, but because it's like really, really boring. I almost wonder if it's one of those things where they designed a bunch of logos for her and they showed them to her and they left this one on there. And
they were hoping she wouldn't pick it.
Yeah, and that's happened to both of us a lot of times. Any designer will tell you that you show people the bad logos, they're always going to pick the bad logos. And I bet that's what happened. She was like, yeah, that one. And they're like, oh, no.
Like, this was just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Like, you tell them you're going to give them 3 samples.
Because of that.
Yeah.
So I blame them for that. They shouldn't have done that. But,
I think a better font would have helped. Like you were saying, like about using a cursive or like a more swoopy type font. I can see why they wouldn't do that. Like you're a woman, like the same. I was going to say the same thing about Carly's logo. I was like, well, it would have been cool if they had done something more feminine. But on the other hand, you're stepping into a male dominated arena. So I understand why you would go for something kind of more gender neutral or FedEx-y. Like I'm going to move these boxes for America. But,
well, I think she should have done something. She could have jacked Carly's logo almost entirely. Instead of going, I feel like she overcompensated.
Yeah. She did go a little far on the man side with this.
Like
this is definitely a manly logo.
It's way too blocky. Like, I mean, the dudes didn't even do that much. And it's like way too, She should have just stole Carly's logo.
Because if she'd done like Hillary, just the word Hillary in a serif font, like the Bernie font, I'm just keep going back to that because it's on my screen. But like that with a star for the dot on the I, and then the other thing is like you've got HILL. That's perfect for putting some stripes on because you've got stripes.
Yeah. there's a lot.
There's a lot you could do there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe we need to submit some designs for 2020. I don't know, but because there's like there's so much that could have been done with that did not have to look like this because it's just.
It doesn't look like I'll say it doesn't look like a presidential candidate logo. It looks more like some sort of business logo to me.
Yeah, some kind of like packaging company or something like some like really boring company that doesn't do anything anybody cares about.
It looks like a company that like a company where you don't have to. Your logo is not gonna get you customers. No. It's just like we do this. We're the only ones. Like FedEx has a good logo, but like if you think of like UPS or FedEx, like you need them. Yeah. So their logo does not have to be good, and this is kind of feels like that where the logo doesn't have to be good and doesn't have to really connect with anybody because it's like, well, who else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna use?
Like for a company that just sells wholesale like parts to somebody, it's just like nobody cares. They're just looking for pipes. It's like
Hillary Logistics Services.
Yeah, and like they're the only one in town that does it. They've been doing it for like 20 years. They don't need to change anything. They've already got their customer base. Nobody cares. That's what it looks like. Not,
Yeah, because I would say that Hillary, from a political standpoint, Hillary's got to appeal to women voters for them to trust her, and now she's got to appeal to male voters as well. So I don't feel like this logo would be appealing to a female audience, or even maybe it's not appealing in general, but I don't feel like it would be work for
anyone
trying to reach out to a female audience.
No, it's not working it's not, I mean, not that, your logo should be everything and that's all you stand for and then that should be everything, but I mean, if you can make your logo work for you, then that's awesome. Like, I mean, if you can be out there, campaigning while you don't have to do anything and it's showcasing your personality, then it's going to do that. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of feel like the gold standard for that is Obama right now because he did a great job with the branding where, it was good design.
Yeah.
Where, and then, and you're coming from somebody that has like a name may not be that common. Not that any of these people on these lists have common name. Well, maybe some of them, but Gary Johnson, that's kind of common. But some of these people have some, what you would say, uncommon name. But, he did a great job of branding, working with what he had, and then making that work for him. So, so vote Barack Obama in 20. Wait.
You're just saying that because he's black.
You're right. You're right.
So with all that being said, so the Democratic candidate will be Bernie Sanders with Hillary Clinton as his vice president.
Yeah.
So
overall, who has the best logo overall?
That's what we're coming to. I would have to say so. In the final election, it's going to be Bernie, Bernie Sanders, Jill Stein, and Bobby Jindal. On my side, I think you had Carly.
Yeah, because that Macy's thing, I don't know why I keep on thinking about Macy's. But
you just like Macy's.
It's just clean. The Jindal logo, it bothers me for something about it bothers me, honestly.
So for me,
they should have made the striped sticker.
Maybe. So on my voting, I would, out of the candidates that are available, I would vote for Bobby Jindal. I would vote for Bobby Jindal's logo to be the winner because it would be a tight race between him and Bernie, honestly, because I like Bernie's logo, but I really like Jindal's logo, and I'll say it's because like last week in our last podcast, we talked about like Nike's logo, how it can be broken down and used in pieces or used all together. I like Bobby Jindal's for the same reason. It can be broken down where you just use the J with the flag joint. You can use it with his name and the tagline. You can use it in pieces or whatever. Bernie's logo,
yeah.
If I needed to put that into a square situation, it's going to have to get pretty small to work.
Yeah, and it doesn't have any elements.
Yeah, there's no standalone elements. So that's why I will vote for Bobby Jindal. Jill Stein,
Yeah.
I mean, I do like her logo, but hers kind of suffers from the same thing in that it can't be broken down any farther than it already is. Like you can drop the the website stuff and taglines and things like that, but it doesn't have a standalone element you could use for other things. And so, Bobby Jindal.
And I think it's, I mean, yeah, I would.
So out of your candidates, your candidates
Yeah.
were Carly, Jill Stein, and Bernie, I guess.
Yeah.
So who wins?
Mm, I'm gonna go with Carly for the win. I know she bit that logo directly from Macy's, but I do like it. I'm gonna go with her for the win. But it's not because hers is so. I think hers is so amazing, and it could represent America, and you could run with that as an element, standalone element. Because Bernie doesn't have a standalone element that you get run with.
Yeah.
His logo is good, but it doesn't have a standalone element. But I would put his next, and then Jill Stein. I would, for the third one. I mean, I like her logo. I like what it's doing with design elements. I don't like the color, and it does look like dull. That's my problem with it. It looks kind of dated.
So, all right. So we've determined how we're going to vote in the 2016 logo design elections. Who would be the ultimate loser?
Yeah.
Who would get the least amount of votes in your mind?
Just based on their logo?
Yeah.
I want to say Johnson just because that looks incredibly boring, but the Trump logo just, I don't know, just something about it makes me think that whoever that is, they're a dick. But then Christie's logo is really incredibly boring. I don't know, probably Gary Johnson because it's just really like, why would you do that?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to take my personal feelings about these people out of it, but I would say the ultimate loser from a design perspective, from my perspective, is definitely going to be Gary Johnson. The runner-up loser,
Christie?
Nah, Christie. So Christie, I feel like has some design element to it. I don't know where it is, but it at least looks like it was.
Whoever designed the font?
No. But I'm saying it looks like it was designed in the last 10 years or something. It looks.
Oh well, yeah, it looks
like
current.
It looks current-ish.
They could have done something to that. Like
I wouldn't call it a logo because it's not really designed. It's just like, let's use the font and then let's use the regular version of the font.
Yeah. They could have done something to anything to just
there's no
add an element to
little
it.
elements to it that I feel like. So the runners up in terms of losers would probably for me be Kasich. There's a little flag thing. It's just like it's cliche almost to do the little flag thing. You see it so many places, so I don't think it's that great. And then Trump, just because it's not a good logo.
Yeah. And those are not with my personal feelings.
Yeah. Don't let anything we say on our podcast influence how you vote, unless you're voting based on design, which I would not recommend.
Yeah.
I don't make all my decisions based on design because that would be bad.
Do consider it, because if you really analyze it, it does say something about a person, but it's more so a statement of character versus like what you should vote for them or not. So it just,
All right. Well, that's our episode. Episode 2. We've done it twice. Back at you again. Thanks for tuning in. Of course, please remember to comment and rate and subscribe to our podcast so that we know that someone is listening besides people we know and people we threatened.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Follow us. Check out our website, alienmuffin.com. Make sure you subscribe, like my brother said. We're also on the social media.
I actually tweeted once or twice this week, so you can check that out. Twitter account is @alienmuffin. My personal stuff at Dave Cavens on Twitter. DCave12, DCAVE 12, number 12 on Instagram.
What's the 12 for?
I don't know. Cause I used to have another account, and then
it was 11.
No, my other account was. I don't remember what my other account was, but Instagram wanted me to verify my email address, and it just started having issues. It wouldn't send me the email so I could verify my email address, and then finally it just shut down my account. So I lost all my followers. I only had like 100, maybe.
Oh, no. You'll never sell those.
I had a thriving fitness tea and waist, a thriving waist trainer business going on that account. So I got to start all over. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My career as an entrepreneur was just ruined by that. So I had to go get a real job as a graphic designer. So
we all have.
It's hard out here. Yeah. So where can they find you, Anthony?
You cannot find me in these streets because I don't leave the house very often. But that's not relevant. You can find me on the internet. It's Ant Cave for Twitter and Ant Cave for Instagram. And use hashtag ThoughtBody. I've got some body suits I'm trying to sell.
Please believe anything he says.
But yeah, follow if you like.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again with another episode. Have a good night or a good day. And if it's your birthday, party like it's your birthday.
I didn't really do much for my birthday.
Neither did I. I think I actually went to work on Sunday.